Welcome back to the Worker Well, and today's video is something special. This is the 1000 subscriber special. And as I had promised in some previous videos, as well as the Discord, I will be going over some of my painted Sylvaneth models and other things that I've painted, some projects that I'm currently working on, and just kind of having a little bit of fun with it. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So, for starters, if you are unaware, my main army is Sylvaneth. I love my tree people. This is my main army. This is kind of what I themed my channel around, and what I really enjoy. This is my current collection. You can see it on the screen, and most of it is in the picture. I have Alariel, Drycha, Treelord Ancient, Warsong Revenant, two Branch Wraiths, one Branch Witch, and an Arch Revenant. For Battle Line, I have 32 Dryads, 10 Spites, 10 Tree Revenants. Behemoths, I have a Tree Lord, and then for other, I have 3 Kurnoth Hunters with Great Bows. And then I also have the Endless Spells. They are not pictured there because I don't have them painted. I really only ever use the Spite Swarm Hive, but I just haven't had a chance to get around to painting it. So a little bit more personal facts about me and my journey through Age of Sigmar and Wargaming in general. The first model I ever painted was my Arch Revenant. I absolutely love this model. It's gorgeous, and I had such a fun time painting it. I painted it in the summer of 2018 when I decided I was going to take the plunge and try to get into Age of Sigmar, and I bought the Loon Curse box because I really wanted this Arch Revenant, and at the time, that's the only place you could have gotten it. So I thought, let's just go for it. Let's get the Loon Curse box. My younger brother, who was 6 or 7 at the time, got the Gloomspite half of it. He wasn't all that interested, and so later down the line, I gave it to one of my other the Gloomspite half. I gave it to another friend of mine, and currently he has that. But my Warsong, or not my Warsong, my Arch Revenant is holds a close place to my heart, being the first model I painted. After I finished up my Loon Curse box, I got 2 start collecting boxes. One of them was pre-owned from a guy who was trying to get rid of his Sylvaneth, and so I just kind of took it off his hands. The other one I just bought on my own. In the picture, you could see the first Dryad I painted, as well as my Tree Lord Ancient. I really enjoyed painting the Tree Lord Ancient. The big tree monsters I really do enjoy. And for the Dryad, I really don't like painting infantry, but Dryads are easy. So yeah. After painting all that up, I thought that it was probably useful to have a Branch Wraith. Now, at the time, I didn't know that the actual Branch Wraith model was fine cast. I didn't know what that even meant at the time. So I just kind of took one of my Branch Witches and decided I was going to try and do a little bit of fun base work on it. And so I put her on this kind of rock. It's an actual rock I found outside. I was just kind of like, I want to put her on a rock, a tactical rock, and put some moss on it, and then clipped some of the regular Tree Lord bits that I had from one of my spare kits, and I kind of turned those into grasping vines that kind of came out of the ground around her, kind of to represent the Throne of Vines spell, because at the time I would always cast Throne of Vines on my Branch Witch, or my Branch Wraith, excuse me, so I could always summon Dryads. Now, there wasn't any real modifications to the model itself because at the time I was a little anxious about that and I didn't really do much in terms of conversion. So I just kind of run it as a Branch Wraith, and most of the times if I just tell my opponent that this is a Branch Wraith, not a Branch Witch, they're fine with it. Then after my 2 start collecting boxes, I decided I wanted to kind of go out and find something a little bit more interesting, and I got Drycha. Drycha is my all-time favorite model in Age of Sigmar. I absolutely love her. She's a beautiful, beautiful model, really unique, and I love her rules. She's really fun to play with. And I mean, where else are you going to get a tree mech suit that has bees coming out of it? It's really awesome. Um, Alongside Drycha, I also got 2 boxes of Spite Revenants because I saw that she buffs them up, and I thought, well, let's have a little retinue of Spite Revenants to help her go around the battlefield just tearing things up. Now, after Drycha and the Spites, there was a bit of time before I decided to paint anything else Sylvaneth. And once I eventually did decide to go back to Sylvaneth, I moved on to something big. I wanted to paint Alariel, the Ever Queen. My Alariel was painted in the winter of 2022, or excuse me, not 2022, just 2020. And I had kind of taken a break from Sylvaneth, mostly just because I wasn't inspired for Sylvaneth, and I also just wanted to do different armies or different projects. I had done some Osiark Bone Reapers army stuff, as well as some Daughters of Cain stuff in the meantime, just to kind of try something different. But overall, I loved painting Alariel. She was so much fun. A beautiful sculpt. The beetle is awesome. And I believe to this day, this is the biggest model that I've painted. Before we move on to some of my other stuff, I would like to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to our Patreon supporter right now. Hopefully that'll grow. Right now we just have EJ Fisher in the Tree Lord Ancient or the Tree Lord tier. Thank you so much. It means a lot, and it's really honestly surprising that I have gotten a Patreon supporter this early. But thank you very much. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon member, that link will be in the description. And also, while I'm on this slide, we have a Discord. If you want to hang out, chat with me and some of the other members of the community, that link will also be in the description below. So, now that I've kind of talked about the main thing for this video, the Sylvaneth army, or my Sylvaneth army, I want to talk about some of my other armies that I have. So besides Sylvaneth, I play and collect Osiark Bone Reapers and Daughters of Cain. And then outside of Age of Sigmar, I've dipped my feet into Tau and Genestealer Cult for 40k. I also have a Grey Knights kill team. And then I also have a few models for Infinity from Corvus Belli. It's a fantastic game system. I would definitely recommend trying it out. I think it's better than 40k, but that's just my opinion for kind of space science fiction settings and game systems. But without further ado, let's go on to some other models. So for after I decided that my Sylvaneth was done for a while and I wanted to try something else, I started collecting Osiark Bone Reapers. And interesting enough, I started collecting them before they were an army. My first OBR models came from the Legions of Nagash in the form of the Morghasts and Arkin, the first Mortarch. I knew I wanted a death army, but I really only liked the Morghasts and some of the other skeletal units. Morghasts were my favorite model from the death range, and I wanted a whole army of this. And that was before OBR was even revealed, so I didn't know that they were coming. So I just kind of grabbed the old Legions of Nagash battle box that came with a Mortarch. I believe in the box itself it was intended to be Neferata, and it came with some Morghast, the Mortarch, and then some skeletons. I believe some Bone Rattle and some Graveguard. So I I for the longest time ended up just kind of proxying my Bone Rattle and my Bone Rattle and the Graveguard as Mortec, just because they had the same base size. They were skeletons, just not the quote unquote right skeletons. So for the longest time, I kind of proxied them in. After I kind of wrapped up Sylvaneth and OBR, or kind of got my OBR where I was comfortable with them, I wanted to try Daughters of Cain. But more specifically, I wanted to try the snake side of Daughters of Cain. I love the Medusa aesthetic and the kind of serpentine models that you get from DOK. So my Daughters of Cain army consists of only snake units or Medusa units. Um, and I really love getting to play that kind of themed army around my snakes, and it's super fun. I love my Daughters of Cain army. My friends and my gaming group don't like them as much, just because I kind of built it as somewhat of a tournament army, and most of the time they don't bring high-end competitive lists, and so I don't play them as often as I would like to, but that's mostly out of respect for my friends. Next, to kind of step outside of Age of Sigmar, I wanted to just try Kill Team. I thought, why not? Just pick up a box of something and test it out. and it was also what the majority of my gaming group were playing at the time, and so I thought, why not? Let's just get some models to play with and to paint. And for Kill Team 2018, I decided I wanted some Grey Knights. So I got a box of Grey Knights and I painted them up as living statues. Mostly just because A, it was really easy to paint, and B, I wanted to be a little bit more artistic with these guys because I don't really care about Grey Knights or 40K as much as I do for Age of Sigmar. And so I had a really great time just kind of playing around with how certain paints interact with the models. Um, Different basing materials and as well as just kind of different shades and highlight effects and all that jazz. And it was lots of fun. If you ever get a chance to experiment with some models that you don't necessarily care about, I definitely recommend it. It's lots of fun, and you'd be surprised with what comes out the other end. So after Kill Team 2018, I kind of enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll try getting some other armies that I really enjoy from the 40K setting. And that's where Tau came in. I love Tau. They are probably my favorite 40K faction in the lore and the models and just kind of how they look and play. So for Kill Team 2020, I wanted to build some Tau. So this is my Tau kill team, just some fire warriors and some drones. I love the Farside Enclave, and so I wanted to paint my Tau similarly. And also just kind of a fun little challenge for myself, I wanted to paint them entirely with an airbrush. And so that's what I did. Uh, the only thing that's not an airbrush is I did some dry brushing to kind of give that weathering effect that you can see on them. But after that, it was majority airbrush. So after all of the kill team boxes and stuff, I wanted to just totally go out of my way and get outside of the GW sphere. And that's when I came across Infinity. Infinity is a really fun science fiction kind of cyberpunk setting from Corvus Belli. Um, and I just loved the sculpt. I would have sculpts that you get from Infinity. I had seen the models on my Instagram feed several times through advertisements, and I was like, these look awesome. I just want to paint them, let alone play with them. Um, and so I just kind of worked my way through a few models for them. Really fun game system. If you ever get the chance and you just kind of want to try something new, I 100% recommend Infinity. I think I prefer it, or the rules at least, I prefer Infinity over 40K. It's so much nicer, I think. So the actual box that I got for Infinity was called Operation Kaldstrom. It had two factions, or two factions, Panoceania and Yujing. It had enough models to play a game mode called Code 1 or Infinity Code 1, which is kind of like a smaller, scaled down version of Big Infinity. Kind of an analysis would be old Killed Team versus 40K, where it has a whole bunch of the same rules, but it's just kind of scaled down and simplified. Um, but it was actually balanced and it worked well. The two factions there, Panoceania is the blue ones. They are kind of the main faction in the Infinity universe, or at least as far as I'm aware. I haven't done too much research into the lore for Infinity yet, just because I haven't had the time. But Panoceania is kind of the main superpower for Infinity, and then Yujing, the red guys on top, they are a major rival to Panoceania, and I really enjoyed painting all of them. They were very fun, pretty easy to paint, I thought. Um, and overall, just a great time. Now, last but not least, before we head out, some future projects that I have in stock. I'm currently working on filling out some Tau and Genestealer Cult armies. I'd like to have at least 1,000 points for 40k, just so I have another thing to play at my local gaming group if that's what they decide they're going to play that night. Um, if I had to choose which I'm going to finish first, it's probably going to be Tau. Tau is kind of my main butter and bread, whereas Genestealer Cults I just enjoy the lore of, and I wanted to pick up a few units for them. And when I found out they were getting new codexes, that kind of sealed the deal for me. But after I finished these projects, I was thinking about starting Legions of the First Prince. If you kind of noticed, the majority of my armies are Order, and then I have one Death army. I thought to kind of round things out, maybe get a Chaos army. And I love Chaos Demons. I find them so much more interesting than the mortal side of things, and having a kind of demon soup army seems really interesting for me. If that doesn't work, or if that doesn't kind of pan out, I might continue my Infinity models. I think if I built up myself a full Infinity army, that'd be really fun. The only problem with that is there's not a lot of people that play Infinity at my local gaming store. It's mostly just anyone that I've asked to try it out with me, and they enjoyed it, but I'm the only one with models at the current moment. So we'll just kind of see where all that goes. Well, that is the end of this kind of fun little subscriber special. Thank you all so much for the support that you guys have shown to me over the past months, and the comments and the uh, different people that I've gotten to interact with, either on my videos or the Discord. You've all been amazing. I cannot wait to see where this channel goes and continue to see how it grows into the future. But yeah. This has been the War with Will, and if you enjoy my videos, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, consider liking or commenting. And I'll talk to you guys next time.